Hello, everyone. It's Royce here, and I want to welcome each and every one of you to the Royce in the House YouTube channel. You know, we now have, I think, 354, 355 videos. Now, these videos are available for you to watch at any time. We have two great playlists that have to do with music. One is, Rock and Roll Chronicles, which usually consists of shorter music shows, and then the live podcast we do every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it lasts a minimum of an hour, and it can go on, much longer than that. But tonight we're going to have a good time. We're going to be talking about the son of legendary Led Zeppelin drummer John Bonham, his son Jason Bonham, and his band and what they're doing. But first, I want to ask everybody: there's a like button. Please hit that like button. It doesn't cost anything to do it. But what it does is it encourages the algorithm to put our channel in front of people searching for content to watch. So that just helps the show grow. So we really appreciate when you do things like that. And if you like the content, like I said, we've got lots of videos for you to go watch. And if you enjoy the content, think it's something you'd like to see again, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. You'll get a one-time notification when the new shows are coming on. Okay, so enough of all that. Let's just get right into it. So we're talking about Jason Bonham. He says it was quite emotional performing Led Zeppelin music in Madison Square Gardens, as you might imagine. In a new interview, drummer Jason Bonham, son of legendary Led Zeppelin drummer, John Bonham, spoke about Led Zeppelin evening show. Spoke about his Led Zeppelin evening show. Okay, used to be the Led Zeppelin Experience, but we'll explain that in a minute, okay? Which he once again took on tour in North America this spring. And that's when I saw it, right here at Vina Robles Amphitheater. We saw Jason Bonham's An Evening with Led Zeppelin. And it's one of the best shows I've seen in so long. I don't remember when I saw one I enjoyed so much. They did a fantastic job, And I mean, these guys are really talented. They work hard. They're good at it. Okay, so once again, he took the band on tour, and one of the reasons why we're still doing this and have been doing it for 14 years, he says, is the fact that I took something that was purely kind of therapeutic for me. My dad's music. Just a way to play the music. Didn't really think of it as something that we'd be carrying on much past the first time we did it. And anyway, it's gotten to the point now where it's just naturally grown. And to his point of view, they get invitations to play with other artists all the time. Okay. One of his highlights was opening for Peter Frampton. Okay. Opened for Frampton at Madison Square Gardens. That's how the show started, playing at Madison Square Gardens. So to go on stage and to be playing Led Zeppelin music back to 2019, it was quite emotional, and to think that this is where the Led Zeppelin concert, the song remains the same. The concert and video were made right there at Madison Square Garden, and everything was filmed there. Okay, and the love, and to walk out at 7 o'clock, and a lot of people don't even show up. They don't really care about the opening band, okay? So you wait until you're closer for the headliner to start. But, they walk out as the opening band for Peter Frampton at Madison Square Gardens to a packed, screaming, cheering audience that absolutely love his father and Led Zeppelin songs, okay? So they're just really showing the respect. It's overwhelming. It's just humbling. Just like, just to go do some shows. They're getting ready to go do some shows with Billy Joel. We're doing some shows with Heart again. They're going to do some stuff with Def Leppard this year. And to get those phone calls, it's just amazing to be thought of. For what we started off is just, wanting to have a little bit of fun. So yeah, we're still enjoying it. Hey, Chris, anything you want to add at the moment?
No.
I'm going to say hi to a couple of people.
Yeah.
Say hi, Music Sanctuary, and our dear friend Angela. Hi, how are you? Good to see both of you here. Thank you so much for joining us. And Dr. Rick, how you doing? How's my buddy Dr. Rick? Okay, so yeah, so you and I both have the same CD, and you've actually got another layer there than I have, but we'll show those a little later.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So
I
excited
just,
to be doing his father's music and being called just randomly by all these people: Def Leppard, Heart, Billy Joel. Hey, how would you like to open for us? How'd you like to go on tour for us? Bonham also talked about the fact that Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening makes it a point to reproduce the music faithfully. Okay, you get players that can play those runs. They make it sound too easy. That's not what Jimmy and Led Zeppelin did. It's about the feel. And I can totally understand that. Jason Bonham spent nearly a decade touring as Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Experience, okay? But before changing the band's name to Jason Bonham's Evening with Led Zeppelin, which Bonham later explained, the switch was prompted by a request from the Led Zeppelin camp, who have a bunch of live tapes they want to do a project with, and they wanted to use the word experience. So that's when he made that switch, for those guys. There's a whole nother story about him not being real happy about getting the phone call asking him to change the name. In fact, his wife had to calm him down. I'm not telling that story tonight, but so Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Experience was formed in 2019 to pay tribute to Bonham's father, who died in 1980 at the age of 32. Damn, does that sound young today, Chris? The age of 32?
and then some.
Oh my God. All right.
At least he lived past the 27 club, but
Yeah, past the 27 club, right? Okay. So, all right. So Jason told Mixdown in 2017 interview, soon after doing the 28 shows we did with an orchestra, everyone said, "You're not going to stop now, are you? You haven't played here. You haven't played there. You haven't played over here." And Jason goes, "Well, it is a natural fan based show that we're doing, and if people still want to see it, we'll keep going until no one wants to see it anymore." So Jason launched Jason's Led Zeppelin Experience at the request of the Led Zeppelin camp, who had other projects in mind and wanted the word experience, like I just mentioned. Okay. 2 years after taking part in Led Zeppelin's one off performance at London's O2 Arena, tribute to Ahmet Ertegun, the founder of Atlantic Records, and he was tight with Led Zeppelin. He was tight with their manager, and their manager took Jimmy Page with him to go to Atlantic Records, to fly to Atlantic Records in New York in search of a record label. As soon as Ahmet Ertegun got the word that they were downstairs wanting a record label, he said, "Sign them, just sign them." Yeah, he knew greatness. Ahmet Ertegun knew greatness, and it really worked out well for everybody. I never wanted, to be just playing music. It had to be personal, with stories to tell the people about what it was like at home with Dad. And Jason does. I saw him this year. He tells stories, and it's just a wonderful feeling to hear him up there talking about his father. And the concert I saw, I want to remind everybody, the concert that I saw, Jason Bonham's son's band was the opening act, John Bonham's grandson, and they were very talented. And Betty and I really enjoyed them. Okay. So I never wanted to be just playing music. It had to be personal, with stories to tell, what Dad was like at home. It's nice to know that so many people love hearing the music played in a live environment. The hardest thing is picking the songs, Bonham said. Bonham told the Chicago Tribune in an interview the hardest thing was picking the songs. Of course, we still do Kashmir, Stairway to Heaven, What Is and Should Never Be. And then they started adding, Dancing Days, Houses of the Holy, Whole Lot of Love, That's the Way. The show is one of the most fun things to do because I get to play all this great music for people that really appreciate hearing it. And I thought that was pretty cool. Now, I wanted to mention that, Chris and I were talking about this before the show. I have Celebration Day vinyl on order at Merch Bar. I've even paid for it already. In fact, I sent him an email yesterday wanting to know if they'd heard anything yet. And they still go, well, it's just still listed as in production, which means nothing's being done. And I also have it. I'm on the list at Tower Records. I've been on that list for 6 months to get the 3 vinyl set of Celebration Days. So hopefully sooner or later, everybody's going to get a shipment. It'll be available again, because I am not going to pay $300 to $400 on eBay, even though some of them are still in the shrink wrap. Tower Records wants $48, $49 for their 3-album set. That may not have included tax and stuff. I already prepaid for it at Merch Bar, and it was like $60 to $65. So I'm not going to $300 or $400, because, well, first of all, I have the CDs, and then Chris does too. And so I can listen to this anytime I'd like. We've got mine anyway, has the 2 CDs, and then the Blu-ray DVD of the concert here on the end right here. Yeah. So two CDs, a Blu-ray DVD, and a little booklet. And now, Chris, you've got your package takes it to another level.
For mine, I got the 2 CDs, the Blu-ray, and an extra DVD of the sound.
Yeah, right. No, that's pretty awesome.
Actually, funny story. I got myself this, and then my brother the next day got me the CDs. So I said, "Oh, cool, thanks," but I didn't tell him I already got him beat.
So have you listened to it much?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Can you? Is it possible at all for you?
How the West was won myself, but this is.
Oh, I've been looking for that. How do you like that? Well, obviously you like it better.
Well, they're on par, but How the West Was Won had Bonham and everything as well, right? Bonham, like Jason Bonham is good. But
yes.
There's only one Bonzo.
There's only one Bonzo Bonham, right?
It's hard to hold that against him though, because in his own right, Jason Bonham been awesome.
No, he is. Like I said, I saw him in concert this year, and he was really, really good. It's one thing to consider him, or not consider, but compare him to his father. It's another thing altogether to compare him to, kind of everybody else out there playing drums in a band, in which case he stacks up very, very well. I consider his dad my top classic rock drummer, period, bar none, and I've got him at the tip top. And then there's others that I like too, but not like him. He's just the way he attacks the drums and the way he's in sync with the guitar player, as opposed to the bass or rhythm section. He really tunes in to Jimmy Page's playing like nothing I've ever seen before, to be honest with you.
Actually, a while back, Michael pointed out kind of the difference between Led Zeppelin with Bonzo and with Jason is just what you mentioned. Bonzo, he played in tune with Page.
Right.
And Jason kind of did it more traditional, and he kind of tuned in with Jones.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That would be more traditional. They're the rhythm section, right?
But Jimmy Page and Bonham and all 4 members of Led Zeppelin, they were just connected on a different level completely. Those guys knew each other's minds especially in the beginning when it came to music. So
yeah, no, just an incredible pairing. Michael, we've been joined by Michael Nolan, the Bottom Line. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing well, Royce. How you doing?
Good. Did you have a busy day creating videos and stuff?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's why I'm laid up tonight. I am in the middle of editing my latest video. It's going to be covering the this album. All right. There you go.
Okay,
Deep,
I can't.
That's
okay.
The new Deep Purple.
Deep Purple. Okay.
Equals One album. All right. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
all
that's
right.
trippy.
And what I ordered was, people are ordering the box set. I just ordered the album, but I got the limited edition version. And of course, that comes with the Deep Purple
Mm.
Vinyl,
Purple
right?
vinyl. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm doing a whole video on it as to whether, because I did a video, a couple of videos on their pre-releases, and
Right.
they did extremely well on the channel. But
Yeah.
usually, by the time I get down to album reviews, the views settle down. I'm not doing it for views. I'm doing it because
Right. Right.
I just love stuff like this, don't you?
Oh
This
yeah.
comes with the album. I mean, you've got it's the size of the album, and
Right. Right.
you have the lyrics, you know, uh, interspersed with drawings and artwork. You know, just everything that you would get in a classic rock album. They've really done this one up. There's a bit of doodling by, I guess, one of the bands. That symbol, as well as other symbols on here, fit real well into their videos, especially the video Portable Door. All right. So anyway, what I think about the album, you pretty much everybody knows that I loved
Deep Purple.
the three free releases. Big thumbs up for all of them. And as far as the album goes, well, watch my damn video and you'll find out. But
Right.
Enough of that cheap self promotion.
Hey, Michael. Speaking of self promotion, Michael Chavez has a question for you up on the screen.
Yoko and Ellen play bass.
Yoyoka
And no, I haven't. No, I haven't. At all. I that may be from a response that I got on one of my videos, and it was an alternative. And I am so far behind on. I have several viewers who have suggested, "Oh, look at this," and I put them on a list. But so much has been happening, in life in general and everything. I'm a little bit behind on that. But I was listening to the two of you before I got up here, and is it my understanding, Chris, that you like, out of all the live albums, How the West Was Won?
For being able to listen to it end to end, yes. Although for live stuff, I must say some of the jewels you can get off the complete BBC sessions. That's some of the best.
Right. Oh, I think all of their albums are wonderful. The reason I ask is because out of the live albums, that's my favorite too.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, it has an energy that the others don't quite have. That there's a frenetic energy to the How the West Was Won. That's the one I at least put on in my car, in my truck. I'll be driving around, boom, live Zeppelin, How the West Was Won every time. Well,
there's with the Led Zeppelin, the remasters, or the reissues, I should say. Well, the Zeppelin 1, the second disc of it has the entire 1970, I think, Japan show.
Oh wow! Hey, you know what I just ordered? And there was only one left, and there can only be one. But I just ordered Led Zeppelin live at the Fillmore West, 1969. We've discussed that concert. It's a key concert, so I've got that coming in an LP as well. I can't wait to listen to it.
Absolutely outstanding. I want to mention to the chat, I have a new link up. If anybody wants to join the panel, I know Dave, I Am Hop Frog, likes to jump on sometimes. And
I love it when he comes up.
Anybody else, you're all welcome. Somebody wants to jump on and join us, please do. So anyway, go ahead, Michael. You were on a pretty good topic. I've been wanting that How the West Was What. I just don't see it out there anywhere.
Right. Well, I own it digitally. Okay. I bought it
Nothing wrong with that.
when it was available on Apple Music. So it's even if my Apple account it's hard into my. It's one of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
albums that I've got on my hard drive, and everything.
Okay, yeah.
As you know, I wasn't collecting vinyl until I met you,
Right.
and so now that I am, it's interesting. My number one band is the Beatles, and Led Zeppelin is my number two band. But uh, now, as I'm collecting them, and I'm buying them through auctions or through online, or even
Yeah,
I've been known to buy a Walmart album.
right.
So as I'm starting to collect, I've managed to accrue a really good pressing of Abbey Road. I've
Okay.
got uh, a couple of. I have the a pressing of the American Help album and Beatles '65, another American album. But that's it. I haven't. But what I have been getting is I wound up getting at auction through Patrick, and through his word, he said, "Yeah, oh, this sounds good," and he is so right. So I got an excellent pressing of Led Zeppelin one. Then I bought, I've caught up by buying. From there, I went to Led Zeppelin 4, Houses of the Holy, Presence. I've Physical Graffiti and Presence, and Coda. So I'm missing 2, 3, and In Through the Outdoor.
Oh, two and
It's
three.
just
Yeah.
I'm listening to Zeppelin so much more these days than I
Right.
am the
Right.
Beatles. And
Right.
I started my channel listening to Led Zeppelin, and so I did dozens. It doesn't even cover it of videos on Led Zeppelin, and kind of
Oh,
got my
yeah.
start on my channel talking about Led Zeppelin. Then but I was never going to be just a Zeppelin channel.
No,
I'm more
no,
of
no.
a classic rock channel. So
Classic rock. Yeah.
yeah, and I actually started off with the Beatles. So I did Zeppelin, then I kind of returned to them. Then we started covering current events, and then up and coming bands, and the other 11 bands that I hold almost as dearly as those two bands. So
Right.
that's how my channel even got started, was, talking about Led Zeppelin. I mean,
Oh, I
as
know.
a when I
You
first started coming up here on your channel, it got so bad. People go, "Oh, Nolan, the Led Zeppelin guy,"
right.
which is not all I'm about. But anyway, I kind of got off the, um,
But
out of the mood.
Michael, no, I hear you. That'll get you out of the mood when people start saying stuff like
Right.
that.
No,
But I
no, I got
but I
out of
mean,
the
you've
mood
just
listening to Led Zeppelin for a
yeah.
while.
Well, that's what happens with all of us.
Yeah.
Comes and goes, and once you're there, you stay there for a while because you love it so much. But
Yeah,
you've really
but I'm back,
covered
baby.
you've covered the hell out of Led Zeppelin here lately. And
Besides,
I've tried to catch. I'm sure there's some that I've missed because you've had so many coming up. But
Yeah.
I've tried to catch everything. I'm sure I haven't. But But anyway,
Right.
you're doing a good job, and it's a point well taken. I mean, these are A shows, Led Zeppelins and Beatles and Black Sabbath. Every time
Right.
I do any of those, I seem to do well.
Right.
But
Right.
you guys should probably do a show on those.
subscribers is a big part of it. I mean, and you don't get subscribers without having a good show to begin with. It's all so it's all tied
Funny
together.
how that works, huh?
But it does kind of feed on itself like a fire. You get more subscribers, you get more views, you get it just kind of feeds on itself. But it all starts with quality content. That's all there is.
There
to
you
it.
go. Well, that's how the Canadian Stud Muffin calls it.
Yeah.
Lovers of good quality content, or something like that.
Oh,
It
yeah,
goes into
yeah.
his low bass
Yeah.
rumble.
Right.
It's cool.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. I'm glad he's sticking in there, hanging in there, and fighting back and rebuilding his show.
Yeah. He's hanging in there. Molly's been supporting him really good on throughout this, and he's got you know, Glenn, of course, is there, and yeah, he's got a lot of friends that he doesn't know about. You know, a
No, he
lot
has
of
a
them came out.
he has
Matthew
he has a lot of
Street
friends.
did a shout out to him when he got into trouble before any of us took note of it.
Okay.
And you know, I never forget that kind of loyalty. That's you know,
No,
that
that's right.
yeah, Matthew's true colors and his mettle was shown that day. You know, he got
Right.
right up there and did it, and you know, kudos to him for, you know, letting everybody know that Larry's been experiencing some difficulties. His main channel was demonetized, in case any of you out there aren't up on the
Yeah.
thing. And at a critical time, he was about what was he at? A little over 48,000 subscribers.
Yeah, just,
So
just about to break 50,000.
break
Yeah,
break the 50,000, and his
that's
channel
huge.
got demonetized, and so he's now on a other channel that he had already opened, but it was a smaller, more
Right,
intimate
right.
channel. And he's since he may be trying to break 4,000 now, but he only had much less than that. A lot of people have gone back over to his new channel, and his old channel's not dead, but he's not putting any input into it because
No, that's right.
you know, he does this to supplement his income, as many of us content creators do. And it's an honorable work, right? It
Yeah,
takes you,
it's
and you never
a
make,
lot of work. It's a lot of
and you
work.
don't make an iota off of what your input into producing content for YouTube,
Well,
for
the
most
time,
of us
yeah,
anyway. All
the
right.
time spent for sure.
But it does become, for some of us, it becomes a nice addition to a limited income. And Larry's one of those. And
Yeah, yeah,
it's
no,
sad to see him go through all of that. You know, it really
oh
is.
no,
But we're
he's
kind of getting into backstage talk now, aren't we?
Yeah, a little bit.
So,
well, you know,
how many times have you seen the Jason Bonham between the Led Zeppelin experience or a night with Led Zeppelin? I saw them twice myself. But.
I only saw him once. I only saw an evening with Led Zeppelin. You know, the change after the Led Zeppelin camp asked him to take Experience out because they wanted to use it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to tell you, I filmed most of it and just threw it on Facebook. It's gone now, but I mean, I actually really enjoyed that concert. Jason Bonham was excellent. The entire band was excellent, and I would go see them again in a heartbeat.
Well, the first time I saw him was in the Chrysler Theater here in Windsor, and I think it only holds 2,000 people.
Okay.
It was such an intimate little show. And then the next time I saw him, he was at the Casino, which was a 5,000 seat venue. That first one, such an intimate little thing. And he was playing a bunch of Zeppelin, but he also threw in some of the hits from his band, Bonham. So he kind of mixed it up on that first show.
Oh, you mentioned something like that earlier. He didn't do any of that, the show I saw, Evening with Led Zeppelin.
No, his second show, when I saw him at the Casino, he didn't play any of his own stuff too. It was strictly just Zeppelin.
Right.
But
wow, you know, it's
tell you.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. So anyway, once you get to the level, Michael, like where you and Larry was, or will be again soon, I'm sure. You know, I can't even, you know, I think about my show and the limited subscribers and stuff that I have and the amount of time I spend, and I can't even imagine. I mean, this is truly a full-time job plus for guys like you. I can tell just by the volume of stuff you've got coming out on a daily basis.
Yeah. Well, it is a full-time job, you know, but I like doing it. You know, I mean, first of all, I wouldn't, you know, I'd stay in, you know, just comfortably retired. And, you know, but I've always created something, you know, usually music, but, you know, I do, you know, graphic arts. I've dabbled in a ton of things. It's always creativity based, and I just love doing it, you know. And so,
Right.
as you know, my channel started off as a what would you call it, a tech oriented channel, and it
I
was when I
remember.
did a
Yeah.
special on the Beatles where I kind of and I, you know, even after doing that, it took me a couple of months to have the epiphany. Well, why aren't you doing that? That's what you know, you have an expertise on,
Excuse
you
me.
know,
Right. Right.
and have some background in, and it would have a voice, and that's how I got into it. And it's bands like Led Zeppelin that started my whole channel anyway, you know.
Right.
And I love discussing them. There's so many tales of that band, you know.
There are a lot of tales. That's correct.
to say the least.
I mean,
I want to go ahead. No, it's
go,
all
no,
good.
no, go ahead.
Talk about
Oh,
the
no. I'm
tales.
just going to say
John Paul Jones was-
say hi to Jeff and Gloria. Gloria's joined us, and I want to thank Gloria for reminding everybody to please hit the thumbs up like button.
Yeah.
It's like Michael likes to say, it you know, helps us to get noticed by a wider audience. The YouTube
Yes, it
algorithm,
does.
the more thumbs up you get, especially if you can reach 50, you get really put out there, offered up to people that are looking for something to watch on YouTube. So that's a biggie. And you know, folks, if you're not a subscriber yet, I think about everybody in the chat is, but if you're not a subscriber yet, you know, you're watching the show later. We always get a lot more views later than during the live, but the live is the most fun. But if you're joining us later, you're watching the show, you like the content, check us out. We've got over 350 videos, a lot of fun music based stuff. We've got tours of famous places. We've got even some construction how-to videos, which is how I started my channel. Michael was talking about starting his doing tech stuff. Well, I was going to my construction sites and filming little videos of me tearing a house apart and rebuilding it and things like that. And then that ultimately led to me, you know, doing some tours of famous places. We went to Clint Eastwood's ranch. We went to the earthquake capital of the world, Parkville, California, which sits on top of the San Andreas Fault. We went to all kinds of places and did these little tours. And that's a fun show, too. So we've got a lot of fun stuff to watch. Of course, this is my flagship right here, the live podcast. Hey, Dave.
Hello.
I am Hop Frog. How are you?
Good. I was just hanging out backstage.
How you
for a
doing,
while.
David?
Good. I was planning on doing some stuff earlier. The next thing I know, I said I'll just relax for a little bit, and I fell asleep for about 2 hours.
Well, are you in France, or do you have a green screen up?
Oh, this is a background. This is Harry Potter Diagon Alley.
Oh, so it's not a green screen. It's just a big.
No, it's just a background, and you see it kind of moving because I got the AC going and the ceiling fans, and it's been warm here. 112.
Yeah, but it looks good though.
No, it's a very effective backdrop. I'm into a good presentation, brother, and that's pro.
Oh.
Looks good.
Yeah,
Good
it's really
presentation.
good. Really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it gives people something to look at other than this.
You know, I've got the whole.
Why do you
screen.
think I have so many gizmos in my studio, bro?
That's true. That's true. And then
I have flags.
I always have this guy here in case I need somebody to take over. So
Oh God.
Well, Dr. Rick, sorry to hear you're still struggling with a few health issues, brother. We wish you, you know,
Wish you well.
speedy recoveries.
Yeah.
As
Prayers
soon
and
as
best
possible.
wishes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Rick. Seriously.
Yeah.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, totally. So, David, what have you been doing?
Oh, just been busy with work, taking care of the wife, and trying to keep cool. All in that order. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you. You're a Led Zeppelin fan, correct?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're probably from a little bit different era than us. Some of us. Me and Michael anyway. But how about Jason Bonham? Have you seen any of his concerts?
Never been to his concert. Seen footage online. He's a great drummer.
Yeah, he is a
completely
great
different
drummer,
style than his dad. You know, kind of like Wolfgang Van Halen versus Eddie Van Halen. Great musicians, very different style.
Right.
They have their own unique thing that they do, but it's a completely different style. So
Right. Right.
I
Well,
like
that's
that analogy. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
great observation. I was going to say the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people expect their child, whether it's a son or a daughter, to carry on what the parent has done in exactly the same way. And sometimes you get a lot
Exactly
of
the
heat
same.
from it.
Right.
I
Right.
remember hearing that Jason was having people were just coming at him right and left. Why aren't you playing more like your dad? Well, it's like, because I'm not my dad.
Because I'm not my dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
So,
Jason, and I'm doing some good Jason playing, but I'm not my dad. Yeah.
yeah. I was looking earlier. I was just amazed at all the projects that Jason's doing. He's just so underrated, so low key, flies under the radar. And you just look at all the stuff that he's been involved with. And it's just,
Yeah.
it boggles your mind.
He was even on some of Jimmy Page's solo stuff. Didn't he have a couple of songs on Outrider that he played on?
He did.
I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing.
He's
Well,
not his dad, but he's definitely among the better drummers around for sure.
Oh, he definitely is.
yeah. Well, my understanding was after that O2 Arena concert, tribute to Ahmet Erdogan, founder of Atlantic Records. My understanding was that Led Zeppelin plus Jason Bonham went back in the studio and were practicing, and everybody was anticipating a tour
Mhm.
with them, which I would have just, oh man, it would have been my only chance to ever see as much of Led Zeppelin as is left. Let me put it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And wasn't it Robert Plant that more or less pulled the plug on that?
I think so, because I know his death was extremely hard on him from what I remember reading.
Yeah, they were
And
tight
he's
friends
just-
going all the way back. The
Yeah, I don't
Birmingham-
think he's.
Yeah,
I don't think he ever got over it.
yeah.
And Jason,
From
wasn't
what I
Jason about
understood, Jimmy wanted to very
Yeah.
badly, and it was Plant that pretty much said, "No, I'm not going back to that night to night gruel."
Well, there was animosity towards the end for a lot of reasons. Number one, when Robert Plant's son died, neither Jimmy Page nor John Paul Jones even came to the funeral.
Yeah.
And he was pretty upset about that. I mean, these guys are like brothers with all the traveling they're doing together, staying in hotels together, eating out together, things like that. I mean, really close. And for them to not show up to his son's funeral was, it really bothered
Well,
him.
and there was already animosity between Robert and Jimmy when Jimmy pushed Robert overly so, which is kind of interesting when you think about it, into recording and writing and showing up and camping out with Jimmy to write for it, even in California for the Presence album. And quite literally, Robert was in a wheelchair, singing Achilles' Last Stand in the studio.
That's what I was going to say. They really pushed him in spite of his condition.
Robert, on reflection, has a lot of good things to say about that album. He's quite proud of that album.
Strongest lyrically, I mean, because he wrote literally about everything going on, like For Your Life, everything. It's T for One. That was basically him sitting in the studio wanting to be with his wife after the accident.
Right, exactly.
A minute seems like a lifetime,
Yeah, terrible.
Well, it's one of my favorite Led Zeppelin albums. I mean, in my ranking, it's much higher than most Led Zeppelin fans would rank it. I forget where I have it, but it's at number 4 or 5. And I think it's Led Zeppelin barbed wired. It's them with their teeth on edge, still hungry. Jimmy is at his best. He hasn't slowed down even iota yet. The drugs hadn't got to him at that point. He was still at the top of his game, which wouldn't be so for him or John Bonham when it came to trying to record In Through the Outdoor, which I wouldn't rank In Through the Outdoor as good an album as Presence. Presence to me is clearly a better album than In Through the Outdoor. Now, I like it.
I would say that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it, but
I do too.
In Through the Outdoor always ranks number 8 out of the so-called 9 studio albums
and that's not counting
that they
cover,
do.
right?
Right.
Well,
So
you
if
can
you're
see-
going to count the proper
Yeah.
8, then Into the Outdoor is my least favorite Led Zeppelin album, and bar none. That doesn't mean there's not brilliance on the album.
Yeah.
It sounds
Well, you
more
know-
like what Robert Plant would wind up sounding like, to tell you the truth, than Led Zeppelin to me.
Well, you know, I was
The way you
was
worded that,
looking.
Michael,
Pardon?
you said it's true. You said it's your least favorite Led Zeppelin.
Right.
We're all favorites, but that just happens to be your least favorite.
Yeah, it doesn't
Least
mean you hate
favorite.
it.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Chris, because I've made it clear in my videos. I think that 8 out of the 9 are masterpieces. Okay, all right, not just good albums, but are all masterpieces. And Coda is a great album that most bands would have been happy to have recorded. Their peers would have been happy with that band, but it doesn't quite. And of course, it can't. We all know why it's not quite what Led Zeppelin
because
is.
the
right?
songs were left off the other albums.
Right, and they only had a limited portion. But then they added, with the extended version, it now becomes Led Zeppelin's anthology to
Well,
me,
let
and a
me-
necessity to have.
That's a good point. I have
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Let me get your guys' opinion on this. I was studying. I wanted a list of all the compilations that Led Zeppelin had done, and some of the lists that I saw listed Coda as a compilation. Now, how does that work? I mean, had they been on the other albums, fine, then it would make sense. But these were songs that were left off the other albums over a period of time.
Well,
I don't see it as a compilation.
Well, I didn't either.
Well, that was just a lot of tracks that were on bootlegs that they wanted to put on. Like there's one song, St. Tristan's Sword. The Girl I Love,
Okay.
You Got Long Black Wavy Hair, or Babe Come On Home. That one was released on the second box set for the release.
Right.
There's just a lot of songs that were, like Coda was basically, they wanted to put their bootlegs out there because they still owed another album to Atlantic Records.
There you go.
They did
And it
that.
had to be a studio album, so they lied about 2 tracks because they were actually live cuts, but they massaged it in the studio and kind of called it a studio track.
Well, which
Chris,
ones was it?
Now,
We're Gonna
now
Groove?
you're talking about Coda, right?
it may have been We're Gonna Groove. I forget, but when I was looking up all the information on that, I was amused at how that, because there are a contingent of Led Zeppelin fans that go, well, that's not a true studio album, because there's at least one live track. I thought there was 2.
There's 2. I think I Can't Quit You on that one as well.
Right.
Too.
Okay, yeah, you're probably right on both of those.
Yeah, that would
As
have to be live.
As memory serves, yeah.
But
Yeah.
one thing for the live Led Zeppelin, like I was mentioning earlier, if you don't have it already, the 2014 or 2015 reissue of Led Zeppelin 1, the companion disc has the entire Led Zeppelin in Japan concert.
Yeah.
Really? You're kidding me. That's CD, right?
Yep. CD.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I wrote test because I was answering a question Music Sanctuary had, and it said it failed to post. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I wasn't sure if somebody goes, I don't like that Hop Frog guy, and decided to block me. So, it's happened before, sometimes accidental. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? I mean,
Yeah.
So when it comes to Zeppelin tributes, there's another one here I have. I'm not sure how many people may have heard of it or not. It's Encomium, a tribute to Led Zeppelin. It's
No, I haven't.
a lot of alternative bands on there and different people. Like some of the better ones on there. Four Non Blondes does Misty Mountain Hop. Hootie and the Blowfish does a really cool version of Hey Hey What Can I Do. Sheryl Crow, Dire Maker. Duran Duran does a really cool version of Thank You. Like there's just a bunch on here. Robert Plant and Tori Amos team up to do Down by the Seaside.
yeah, you know what? That sounds like a really good video like that, where people are, doing their songs. I don't like a lot of them when they come out like that, because I like the original so well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would really like that one, Chris. I really do.
Because it's like there's Rollins band. They did the whole one, like Henry Rollins basically
Mm-hmm.
out on the tiles, or Stone Temple Pilots did Dancing Days.
Yeah, that would be
now
amazing.
I've heard that.
now
Yeah, that's
so
good.
far out of that group, Chris, that's the one I'd like to hear that version.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that too. I'd even like to hear Hootie and the Blowfish doing the other song.
Yeah.
That guy's got a fantastic voice.
Yeah.
And Sheryl Crow,
Oh,
she's good.
sorry, I mixed that up. Blind Melon does Out on the Tiles, and Rollins band
Oh.
does Stick.
Okay. We went on, we rode our Harley Davidsons one year down to what's called the Love Ride. And Peter Fonda and Jay Leno, I think, lead the ride to this lake, And we went down there, and Sheryl Crow was playing, and a bunch of different people were playing. It was a lot of fun, actually. But she's very talented as well, Sheryl Crow. Got a great voice. I'm sure she could do a good job on a Zeppelin song.
I haven't heard her latest album, but I loved her when she was more rock. This laid back country stuff, puts me to sleep. She's still a great songwriter. Got a great voice. But I wish she'd get back to, I'll Follow the Sun, My Worst Mistake, Globe set. I want her to get back to the Globe session sound. I was such a fan of that album. It's her best album, in my opinion.
Hey, Carla, thanks for saying that. Hey, what can I do was on the B side of the Immigration song 45 that they put out.
All right.
I'm starting to see, I don't know about you guys, I'm starting to see a lot of 45s out now, and I mean new ones too. Not the old ones with the tattered, covers and sleeves, but I mean brand new 45s. I just saw a bunch of them at a record store in San Luis Obispo, Boo Boo Records, where I bought a couple of Zappa albums I'd been wanting.
That's a question I've had. Like I said, I'm new to the vinyl community, Royce. I know of people who collect vinyl, both albums and 45s. I'm thinking Harry's Music Room. He kind of collects both sides. But to vinyl enthusiasts, is the 45s, collecting 45s, a big deal?
Well, it is with some people, and I think it's going to become a bigger deal now that we're seeing these things being reproduced. I came across a Beatles 45 about a month ago at this thrift store that just got a shipment in like they've never had before, and I bought about anything worth buying. I bought it $2 at the max, and they gave me the little tiny one, which was the Beatles 45.
Oh, wow.
Well, when it comes to the Beatles, I would buy 45s. When it comes to Zepp, any 45s that were issued against their will, I would buy those, but just as a collector. I know there's a superior sound to spinning a record, especially one that has this much space for a single song that usually wasn't over 3 minutes.
No.
You're going to get a superior sound, and so maybe certain audio files that collect them for that. I've always found 33 1/3. Matter of fact, that's my biggest criticism with Deep Purple's album and Alice Cooper's is
45.
You have to, you got to do the 45 thing, and you got less songs on the side. You got to turn it over. You're more committed to the thing. And I like a nice 22 minutes aside. I'm conditioned. I admit that by my generation. 22 minutes, that's good. But when you're flipping it over, it's 12 and a half minutes on this side and 16 on that. Oh, at least that was a long one. I don't care. But it didn't stop me from buying the album.
I've always seen the 45s out there when you go to the used stores, but I mean they're always so tattered looking. You look at them, they're kind of the sleeves that they're in are really tattered, and aged looking, beat up, and a lot of the vinyl's beat up. And I quit even paying any attention. Then one day I was online, and I come across Jimi Hendrix Purple Haze in a 45 in purple vinyl,
Oh
and
wow!
Wow.
with a beautiful sleeve, and I couldn't help myself. I had to
Wow.
order that. In fact, I was ordering some Hendrix stuff at the time. I might even have been on the official site. So I ordered that one, and then before I knew it, the latest Beatles song came out. You know, the Lennon song that we all had, and they had that in a 45 size in blue vinyl, and I bought that. And then there was another new one. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. But then I found, like I said, that one Beatles one and one Monkees one too, that were old, but they were clean looking.
Mhm.
So I was in Boo Boo Records, and they had a huge stack of brand new 45s, all, you know, all more up to date songs, you know, and I was surprised to see that. So I guess there must be a growing market in it. People are starting to reproduce them now.
I guess. Yeah.
And speaking
Yeah.
of 45s, I picked this up a couple weeks ago. I've been busy, haven't had a chance to listen to it. It's on green vinyl. The only reason I'm showing this is because it has right here this young lady right here.
Uh-huh.
That's our very own Melissa.
Who?
Oh, wow. Ah.
Yeah.
Are you talking Melissa, Boomer of the Night?
Boomer, yeah.
Yeah,
That's who
you're
he's talking
kidding,
about.
kidding
Yeah.
me.
No,
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I recognized her once it
Yeah.
focused and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Camera was having trouble focused. I
Yeah.
thought I knew right away. Yeah, she was talking about it, and I said, "Oh yeah." So,
Ah,
picked it up.
that's so cool.
That's funny.
That is
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
So,
Dr.
you know,
Rick-
I was going to ask everybody else, you know, I just sang the praises of Presence. What do you guys think of that album? Where does it sit? You know, it'll be interesting because we have, you know, two older generation guys here and two of the younger generation guys here.
yeah.
I'd be interested to hear.
it's
Yeah.
You know, I have a video online where I ranked all the studio albums, but it's
Uh-huh.
been, I don't know, 4 or 5 months now. And I tell you what, without looking at that, I'd probably have a different ranking. So
Yeah.
that's Led Zeppelin. You know, that's Led Zeppelin for me. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm right now going through all the albums again, and I might have to do it twice. But I didn't have Presence, as I recall. I think you said you have at the top maybe 4 to 5.
Yeah, it's in my top 4 or
Yeah.
5. Yeah.
Yeah, because you know,
Yeah.
the more I go back, you know, and listen to 1 and 2, the higher they get in my ranking.
Mhm,
You
yeah.
know, I think 1 and 2 are just freaking amazing, and of course 4 came along and hit it out of the park too. But you know, so I think 1, 2, and 4 I would probably rank as my top 3. And then after that, you get into well, Physical Graffiti is a double album set. I don't know if that's a fair comparison, but you get into that, you get into Houses of the Holy, you get into Presence, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I would have to go back and look at what I did last time after I just freshly listened to every single one of them, which I'm trying to do now, but I've gotten off track here the last 3 days, I think.
Yeah.
It-
Well,
But I have a long time.
if I could vote my heartfelt favorite Led Zeppelin album, it's not
Yeah.
my highest ranked, but it's
Okay.
my most beloved. It's one. You know, it's one. I
Yeah.
played that to death when it came out.
Ab-
to death. You know,
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely,
So,
yeah.
but on reflection, it doesn't rank as number 1, 2, or 3, or 4. I think.
Mhm.
All right.
Mhm.
Because now you got to consider the obvious suspects, right? You've got 4. All right. You have Houses of the Holy, which I think is their best produced album they ever did. It's their Abbey Road. You have the magnificent Physical Graffiti, right? So those 3 are always going to be high on people's lists. And then you have a subset of Led Zeppelin fans like you, Royce, that, hey, it's 1 and the Brown Bomber, and that's it. They died after 2, you know? So,
No, you never heard me say that.
and to me, when I hear Presence, I hear Led Zeppelin 3. Okay? Not the 3 we got, but the three everybody was suspecting
Was
we
hope-
could
was
get, and
the
if
three
it had
everyone
come out
the
then,
three everyone
oh.
wanted. Yeah.
Yes, and yet when it did come out, most fans and critics kind of give it a pass. That's why I'm interested in what you guys think here. You know?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Here's the thing. Led Zeppelin 3 was very poorly received. That was
Mhm.
1970.
Yeah.
I was still in high school, and me and all my friends were huge Led Zeppelin fans, and we loved 1 and 2. When 3 came out, I instantly bought the CD. It wasn't a CD; it was an 8-track, I think. Instantly bought the 8-track, and I played it. And all my friends were saying, "What'd you buy that for?" None of them liked it, so I played it. And to be honest with you, I didn't like it. And then, of course, our high school was kind of out in Las Vegas, and it had a lot of Vegas guys there too. It was a big school, high school, junior college, trade school, all wrapped up into one. And so we had a really big group of people out there, and music was always a topic when we were standing around between classes and stuff like that. And there for a while, Led Zeppelin was always a topic, And nobody liked 3 initially, and everybody loved 1 and 2, and some people thought 2 was a sellout for commercial success, and 1 was the raw, gritty, real Led Zeppelin. So
I admit I didn't like 3 when it first came out either. You had to almost grow into it. Matter of fact, I couldn't grow into it until after 4 was done, and then you saw where they were going with what they were developing during 3, and then it became palatable for me. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you. And it became palatable for me as I had a fairly long ride to school, and after a few weeks of wishing I'd never bought it, I just started popping it in my tape deck every day on the way to school and back, and actually wound up liking it a lot. It was just different. It took some warming up to. But
a lot of the mixes I hear from that album, to me, at least the mixes I've heard, it sounds a lot more tinny than all the other Zeppelin albums, and that kind of always bugs me. Just a bit of a bass response, just a little,
Well, and I heard that Led Zeppelin was trying to Led Zeppelin 4, I'm sorry, trying to overcompensate the band was for 3, which was poorly received, which of course it is Led Zeppelin, and over time it's 7 times platinum. So you tell that to somebody, a younger person today, and they're like, what are you fucking talking about? That's 7 times platinum. Are you crazy? But
I was gonna say, what's funny about Led Zeppelin 4, there was always an argument in the circle that I ran in, is what is the official title, because it's not titled. I had some people that would swear it's called
Zoso,
Stairway to Heaven. Someone else said, no, it's Styx. You have to call it Styx.
I heard that before too. I heard Styx,
yeah. Some people call it Led Zeppelin 4. They go, you're crazy. There's no number on there. It's not 4. It's another album. But out of all of them, I'd say probably Houses of the Holy is probably my favorite one. And Presence, I haven't heard Presence for years. I apologize. I haven't. My aunt was always playing Led Zeppelin. She's lived with us for a while. She was 6 years older than me. She introduced me into Hendrix and Sabbath and all the good stuff.
Yeah.
She loved Led Zeppelin, but she played more Hendrix and Sabbath. So there's some Zeppelin, but it's mostly those 2 bands that she really, really liked. So
Yeah.
For myself, I think, just to go back to what you guys were talking about, like with Led Zeppelin 3, the first song, the Immigrant Song, that sucked everybody in. This is going to rock just like Zeppelin 2. And then they went into the acoustic stuff, and that kind of was a letdown.
Kind of falls flat compared to what you're used to. Yeah.
But as far as my ranking of Zeppelin albums at this point, I'd say, my all-time favorite never changes. It's Physical Graffiti. My second favorite, usually Led Zeppelin 2. 3 and 4 can be interchanged. Usually it's Presence or Led Zeppelin 4.
Oh, wow. So you hold Presence quite highly.
Very highly, yeah.
Yes, I do.
Good. Yeah. Wow.
Nobody's fault.
I feel vindicated, Royce. I feel vindicated.
No, I heard you mention on a recent show that you did how much into Presence you were.
When I was a kid listening to my dad's albums, when I'd put on that, when the opening of Nobody's Fault But Mine, that heaviest song I'd heard in my life at that point.
Yeah.
Wow.
And after those four, though, I'd have to go probably Houses of the Holy, 1, 3, In Through the Outdoor, then Coda.
Right.
Yeah.
Mine's always been 4, and then Houses of the Holy, and then Physical Graffiti. I mean, God, those 3, I could go to a desert island and be semi-happy with just being able to listen to those albums,
Right.
with 3 dozen natives, fanning me, of course, and a $5,000 turntable, and sipping my ties at sunset, right?
Absolutely.
Those 3 albums,
Don't forget that.
We'll listen to side 3 of Physical Graffiti tonight, Dorothy.
Don't forget the loud generator so you can play
Exactly.
Well, that would be based on the other side of the island, Royce. You're talking to a man who watched Gilligan's Island. I know how to handle these things.
Right.
Now, one thing I heard growing up as a kid was actually a lie. The movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High, one of the guys gives his buddy advice, put on side 2 of Led Zeppelin 4. So they're going to the restaurant and they're playing Kashmir.
Oh, God. Are you kidding me? Oh,
No.
Oh man.
Like, oops.
You know what track off of there I've been listening to a whole lot? What is that? Dun, 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 Trampled Underfoot.
Yeah.
God. Oh, the syncopation, the drive of that song on that album at that spot in the album is just like a breath of fresh air and a drink of cool water after you've gone across this era,
Yeah.
Oh, it's wonderful. Wonderful track.
The live version from the Led Zeppelin box, or the Led Zeppelin DVD, it's got the live version from what was the last place they played there? The last show they did it with like 100,000 people there.
What? Not the O2 Arena, right?
No, Nebworth. Nebworth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
They showed a version from Nebworth, and the energy, like you see Bonham and John Paul Jones. It was just the energy of that song alone.
Yeah.
Concert.
Right. Oh yeah, I agree. I concur wholeheartedly. Yeah.
Now
Royce, we've talked about Led Zeppelin a lot on this channel. I'm sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
Oh, I just complained in my Led Zeppelin DVD. The first disc it plays still. The second disc, my machine doesn't even recognize it anymore.
Oh God!
Like it changed area or region or something all of a sudden. I don't know.
I was gonna say, when I was rudely interrupting Chris, we've talked a whole lot about Led Zeppelin on this channel ever since I've been here, and I'll tell you what. Tonight we've already discussed aspects of Led Zeppelin we've never discussed on this show. It's a grand story by a grand painter. When you come into your own as an adult, whether you like the arts in general or not, you have kids at one point and you take them to museums. Your average American adult has some culture to them and can understand the beauty. If they don't even have a focused knowledge based on whatever artist is before them, they know a Rembrandt is considered good. They look at it and they go, okay, I see what they're talking about. We are talking about, when it comes to music, we might be talking about Beethoven. Well, to me, the Beatles and Led Zeppelin, and if truth be known, Pink Floyd, all represent bands that, to me, their works, and I've said this, but it's been a while since I've said it, so I'll repeat myself. Their work should be hanging in the Louvre, gold records, copies of Dark Side of the Moon, focused with lights on it and everything. Oh, yes, I remember that time. It is art, and these guys, and we still have some of these giants still among us. Can you imagine this many years later? They're still among us.
Yeah, you
And
know,
wow.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Well,
so
there's-
there's almost a never-ending story with bands that produce this kind of art, because art lives. It means something slightly different to every generation of perusers. Okay, paintings, sculptors, ceiling artwork, inventions by Da Vinci. All right, all of that, we look at that and we see that. But the classic rock is one of the arts, people. And if you're a fan, man, give yourself a pat on the back, because you are a connoisseur, baby. You really are, you know?
Well, that's true. That's what's being played today. You know, I read something disheartening within the last couple of days. My wife and I were both reading it, and the young people are listening to kind of a new rap, you know, and that's their biggest music form right now. Is like a new rap.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, he won't let me play it for anybody, but my grandson just turned 19, and he sent us. I have it on my computer and on my phone, a copy of his first rap song. And he does such a damn good job. I'm just chomping at the bit to play it on my show for you guys.
I'm excited. I'm still waiting for the first rap song I've heard to sound good.
Oh no, you know what? I mean, it might add a little bit knowing that it's my grandson. And
it would. But
he's been talking
you
about,
know, I've heard some interesting. Eminem has done some interesting work.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think.
This song's a little Eminem-ish, you know, because he's talking about real life and his mother.
Well, I like Eminem as a lyricist. He's got a real talent as a lyricist, and he actually has something to say sometimes. You know, when he's not crawling up his own ass, but. You know, so there's an example of a rap artist that I can tolerate and even appreciate.
He even did a good job in 8 Mile, the movie. You know, I thought that was an excellent show. I probably watched it about 4 times.
Yeah,
and you know, and even 50 Cent didn't do nearly as well as he did with his Get Rich or Die Trying, but I actually like that too. I thought it was cool when he was in jail and people were walking around singing his songs.
But speaking of rap, every time I've tried to play Led Zeppelin at work, the younger guys go, "Hey, that's that Beastie Boys song." So they sampled a lot. They sampled a lot of Led Zeppelin and AC/DC for that.
Well, I tell you, what does the future hold for our classic rock? I mean, we've devoted shows to that, but there's really no conclusion because nobody knows for sure.
See, to me, like when Bachman Turner Overdrive, goes, he sounds like some kind of John Paul and George, and for a second they go, gong, 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 and then back into the song, or no, that's Don't Call Us, We'll Call You by Sugarloaf. They don't sample the song, and they don't quite follow, the Beatles lick, but very similar. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with parodies like from Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah, I love Weird Al. Weird Al's great.
But sampling, folks, and I fell for a few samples. I thought, that's kind of cool. I like what they did there.
Yeah.
But I think it's a mistake, and it's hurting rock and roll, and I don't think it should be allowed. I think it's time to nip that shit in the bud.
Yeah, a lot of artists have.
Yeah, it's killing creativity. I've likened this to we're a bunch of children, and we're not really creating. We're taking a page from a coloring book. The drawing's already been made for us, right? Because it's been sampled in the coloring book, and now we get to color it and think that we are creative. Bullshit, people.
We are.
You know what? If you believe that, I've got an emperor with a brand new birthday suit I can sell you. Okay.
To me, just staying within the lines was creative and talent.
There you go.
Michael, I have
and that's fine to train young children up
Mhm.
in an artistic way. Coloring is
Yeah,
very important.
of course,
Okay.
yeah. But I just want to
But it
say that,
shouldn't be where we're at as adults. Come
Yeah.
on, you know,
Yeah.
grow up.
Dr. Rick's asking me, why don't I just play it? And we're talking about my grandson's video. And you
Yeah.
know what? I am so tempted, but I could never do it without asking for his permission, because he initially told me not to play it for anybody. He made a little video when he was about 2.5 years old, playing the guitar kind of overhead. Mama,
Wow.
I love you. I want to kiss you. I want to kiss you in the hair. I want, and I put that online, and he flipped out when he saw that. You got to get rid of that. You got to get rid of that. I said, why? It's my cute little grandson. I enjoy watching it. Well, put it someplace private. I don't want you playing it.
You know, my youngest daughter, when she was 2 years old, we got her a guitar. She's a wonderful guitarist, better acoustic guitarist than I ever will be. Great songwriter. She's 24 years old, and she used to go around the house strumming an out of tune miniature guitar, singing, whatever was happening before. And the kitchen table came up, rock, rock, rock. And so I uphold that kind of encouragement. We would sit and seriously listen to her hey, Dad, Mom, want to hear my new song? And she'd make it up on the spot. And we'd go, we'd critique it and everything. And she wound up being a great musician because of that, I think.
Yeah. Can I make just a kind of a counterpoint to what you were saying, Michael? And I think Dr. Rick, what he just had on the screen there, somewhat may back up what I'm saying per se, is the sampling, yes, but is it just a different generation of sampling than what, say, Led Zeppelin did when they were borrowing from the blues, or like the Rolling Stones? Like, could that be considered 60s sampling compared to what they're doing today?
Well, no, to me, the first evidence of sampling was by the Beatles. They went to, and it's analog sampling, but it's sampling. To use a song and then steal it and make it your own, we could debate that all night. And Led Zeppelin certainly was guilty of doing that on several levels, especially early on. But to me, the first thing of sampling I'm aware of, anyway, was they had just done Yellow Submarine, and George Martin and Jeff Emmerich went into Abbey Road's sound studios, their collection of tapes, and got an Oompa band recording. And because they didn't want to pay, and Chris, this is part of the whole thing, because they didn't want to pay royalties for that, because that was registered, they cut it into 1-inch strips, threw it into the air, and then reassembled it, because now it's not the same recording. That's sampling. That's exactly what a sampler does, only high-tech wise. And to me, that is cheating. Okay, at least the Beatles, by doing that, because see, they didn't want to pay for a whole orchestra to come in, and they also wanted the oompa sound and the instrumentation. To find the instruments for that was too expensive. Okay, but see, that's when that takes a shortcut. But at least the Beatles showed some creativeness by cutting it up. As a matter of fact, they tossed it in the air, he put it back, it almost came back identical. They had to do it again. They didn't even throw it in the air the second time. They just switched a couple of the blocks, right? And they got away with it. But it was a grift. Okay, I love the Beatles, but it was a grift. Okay, let's call an apple, and orange,
Yeah. Well, Carla brought something up interesting. She's talking about the Stones doing "Love in Vain," a Robert Johnson song from 1937.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's how a lot of that got started, even with Led Zeppelin and a lot of the British bands. The blues were underappreciated by American audiences.
Well, what about the Stones' "Not Fade Away" was a direct rip-off of Bo Diddley,
when the
the
Stones,
Beach Boys ripped off Chuck Berry's "Sweet Little 16."
well,
you
half their songs start out sounding like Johnny Be Good. You know?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Half, that's a little exaggeration by about
yeah.
9%, but even the Stones, there was a blue light on behind when the train left the station. That's an old, I think, Robert Johnson song too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, the blues were underappreciated by the American audiences. It took the British to bring them back over here, but there were people listening to them over there. The Beatles were listening to them. The Stones were listening to them. Led
Yep.
Zeppelin was listening to them, and old ones too. And so, you know, I don't think copyright wasn't nearly as big a thing, and you didn't get as much trouble back then. And I think they just did it. And you know, in the case of well, certainly Led Zeppelin, you almost wouldn't know it was the same song because Led Zeppelin was such a great band, and every song that they copied, they made their own to where it was barely recognizable.
Well, it certainly had a different stamp. There's a couple that they did that. Yeah. All you have to do is listen to the original, and it's clear it's a ripoff. You know, I mean, I love Led Zeppelin, but I'm not going to let them off the hook when they're wrong. You know.
Yeah.
By the way, folks, I'm up and down again. It's been 2 weeks since I even said this. I hurt my back, and so I'm just sitting in the chair. Is tough. Okay. So if I get up and down, that's so
you haven't re-injured it. It just hasn't gotten any better yet, huh?
No, it's better. It's better.
Okay.
But okay. I'm still in rehabilitation. I'm up and down all the time, or I'm laying down, you know. Yeah. But it's much better. Thanks for asking. I appreciate it. I just wanted to let people know, hey, why is that clown going on and off all the time? Who does he think he is? You know.
Well, you know, Dr. Rick just let me know that song I was talking about, you know, by the Stones, it is actually Love in Vain. Yeah,
good point, Dr. Rick. Yep.
And that's a really good song too.
Hey, can I just bring up one last point about the sampling per se? Maybe another also perspective of it is if it's done right and legally, could it be looked at, you think, as kind of a tip of the hat to the other artists that you're sampling?
That's how I saw it. So
if it's a tip of the hat, then perform it.
Yeah.
Okay, perform it. If you're going to sample their sound, see, here's the thing. I've done a lot of videos on this, and I'm not getting a lot of views, and I will still make them, and it's fine. I don't care. I will scream at this freaking, windmill for the rest of my life. There's these new programs, Suno and everything coming out. Yeah. And you can just write in whatever, type in a storyline, send it to Suno, and it will create a song for you based on its training on how Bon Jovi and REM and Ted Nugent approaches their songs. And it's been trained on their chords and whether Ted Nugent deadens this chord when he plays an E9 or this string when he plays an E9 off there, and it's being fed into it. What was their songwriting approach? What was the progression they chose for this big hit that Bon Jovi had, and why is that considered a good progression? And then they insert some music theory knowledge into the fucker. Excuse my language, and out it whips, and we as children are entertained. Are you not freaking entertained? Because if you are, you are asleep, people.
Yeah,
plain and simple. Because this is not good for human creativity, and sampling is too great of a shortcut and a cheat. But if you want to put you want to build up another band or a tip of the hat. It's been done so many different ways, and sampling is the lazy freaking way.
No, there's
looking at the different.
Michael, there's no doubt about what you're saying, and it must have been your AI video that I commented on today. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if all of this AI and sampling, the way you're talking about it, doesn't become some sort of a subgenre that a certain group of young people that are looking for their own identity don't glom onto and love it.
Yeah. Well, they're already falling for it. They're falling for.
I know.
I mean, the
That's what I'm
youth don't listen to even their preferred style of music, like the youth of my day, at all. And the reason is it takes too much freaking effort to actually push their phone buttons enough time to go up and to play an album, and their attention span is so bad that they don't play albums because their attention span is music that's played in the background that a lot of creativity has gone into in their video games. It's created an attention deficit disorder in our youth, and we've got to get them refocused somehow, or they've got to do it themselves, because when humans become lazy, well, take a look at the downfall of the Roman Empire.
Hey, Michael, check out this comment from Dusty. He created a whole album from Meta AI and Suno AI in a matter of minutes.
I do not doubt that, Dusty. I do not doubt that, and it's probably going to be a hit. You know, well, the way things are going. I mean, I don't even toy with AI. To me. The only AI I've ever toyed with is like presets. You know, you'll buy a preset that will help you mix a song a certain way, and I always toy with that. And it's based on a famous preset that a producer or an engineer used. You know, when I've made a demo, and I'll do that kind of thing. But that's as close, and even that. I've got a real couple of professional sounding demos that I did, and a lot of it was based on the fact I used a lot of cheating shit that people are using today. So I've been guilty of doing it myself. All right. So
I just put a link up. You know, French vinyl addict is here now. Romy, my buddy Romy.
Romy.
You know,
I've got to find out if it's Romy or Romy.
If you guys want to join, I just put a link up. It's right on top of you. You're right in there. Go ahead and hit that and come right on. And
there you go.
Yeah, tell us what
Absolutely.
you know.
Yeah, come on out.
Sampling. Let's also forget the sampling part, but the music. I mean, there's somebody even without AI. There's people that can just sit on their computer and push buttons, create whatever sounds on the app, and make a song that way, and then put it out there, and then somebody will like it, and before you know it, it's gone viral, and somebody who spent 5 minutes writing a song is now a superstar.
I mean,
come on. Isn't that absolutely crazy?
You don't even get to play in a garage without actually practicing for a while.
Yeah. But you know, that's okay. There's always been a room in rock and roll for joke songs. No, I'm serious. Chris.
I know.
What everybody goes, oh, what a tragedy! The Big Bopper, he died. No, there was a career cut short. Really? I think he had his one hit. All right, and Chantilly, right? Hello, baby. You know, there's room. Yeah, there's room to get silly, and there's even room to get silly in the creative process. But when we take a when we take a lazy approach, I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. They used to send recording teams out in the field to record stereo or mono recordings on the highest decks allowed to get nature sounds, waterfall sounds. And they would type these up, put them in libraries, right? Instead of a band who wants to include a jungle scene with a waterfall and a bird coming by and stuff like that on their record, they just go to these same old loops. Okay, but a band that it would be on the level, and this is why we don't have bands these days that are on a Led Zeppelin or Beatles or Pink Floyd level. But if we did, they would go out and hire their own, a kind of John Lennon in that fictional band would say, yes, I want the sounds of crickets next to a rice field, right? And they'd send out you know what I'm saying? But we push buttons, and, you know, everything we're hearing on record happened decades ago, folks. Decades ago. The planet doesn't even sound like that anymore. But we're using these dial-up effects. It's not good for our human state of well-being. Okay, creativity, I've said it before, it must
agree with
remain
that.
in the human domain. And we've got to be real careful about, I'm not anti, technical advancement.
No, but this
You
is
know,
not progress.
I'm quite well versed in computer, and how to deal with, all kinds of things. All right. As a engineer, recording my own demos and everything, I've become aware of a lot of things, and I've used a lot of things. And and I know when I've taken shortcuts, and I know when I did it organically and did it right. And I also know when I didn't do it right. And I've shared a whole lot of those things where I'll just have like a keyboard sound going. Well, you didn't hear the part where I had a drum and a bass part going, but I share those on my Patreon. But I've done all this, and we got to be careful with it, Chris. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, I want to say, you guys know that I have a membership or Patreon, if you will, and I've had it for maybe a couple of months. I'm just now starting to make video Patreon only or Patreon early Patreon views. I'll be doing some of both, and I have one coming out Tuesday, and I don't want to talk about it because it's got to go to the Patreon first, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and you're going to be really surprised what the topic is.
Oh, okay.
Well, now I think Royce is talking about his memberships, which is different than Patreon, right, Royce? Unless you started at Patreon.
I don't know. I thought it was one and the same. I mean,
no, it's not. No, it's not. Let me. Okay. So, for example, you've asked me over in my channel, well, why are some people tribal chieftains? That's because I have a channel membership, which is what you have, right? And so I added another layer to what I offer over on my Patreon, which is different. And what do I have over on my Patreon? You can, you either become a council member or a tribal elder. And over on my memberships, you can become a tribal elder or a tribal chieftain. And I've got a few of those. So that's the difference between the two. And yours is a membership. And I can't wait for your video because I happen to be one of your members, brother. I'm going to get to see it before the rest of you.
I have 5 members right now.
Yeah. We're special. 5. We're special. I like it.
Membership only or early releases at the very least.
Yes, James.
But I need to start. I'd like to start getting at least one a week on there. When I say at least, probably one a week is actually a lot given everything else that's going on. Because I like to make the pre-recordeds for my regular show. And then, of course, the live too, and there's just so much time involved in doing all of it,
Yeah, what you're gonna have to do, Royce, is pace yourself. Give yourself 2 days in between each shooting, and just shoot on a you do tonight on a Sunday, then shoot on a Wednesday, then shoot on a Friday.
Right.
And just make that commitment. Okay, I need energy for these Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, and you'll get through it. It is. I'm telling you this because I've had horrible growing pains inculcating my Patreon and my membership and what I'm doing on my channel. But I'm getting there. And the best way to do it is get your freaking feet wet. And, at least 5 of us are waiting, brother,
Right.
And more if you're smart, people.
Right. Yeah, it's one way to support the channel that actually costs you a little bit. Everything else, thumbs up, subscribing, liking, all of that stuff.
What? The cost of a cup of coffee, folks. And you'll support Royce.
I think it's cheaper than I think it's cheaper than a Starbucks.
Yeah. Yeah. See what a deal?
One Starbucks costs as much as an entire month.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, how many times have you people given money to a guy going spare change? All right, and put that out.
Well, you know what, Michael? Every year at Christmas,
here's a $5. Leave me alone.
Every year at Christmas time, I used to get $100 to $200 in $5 bills, and as I drove around town, I reached off ramps where there were homeless people and things like that. I would just hand everybody a $5 bill. I didn't care what their situation was. whether it was drugs, alcohol, mental illness, whatever. They
Yeah.
needed it. They needed it worse than I did, and I just went around and passed it out.
Yeah,
5
who are
bucks
you
a
to
piece.
judge? I mean, you know,
Maybe once in a while I
somebody's
even
got their
gave
hand out.
10.
Are you able to give? You know,
But I'm a sucker for a woman with a couple of kids. I'll give her more.
yeah. You know, you know, there's some that go, hey, bro, you guys, you're not here. No, go away.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but
Sores
other than
sores
that,
all
I'm
over
not a
the
cold.
face. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
other than that, I'm not a
Yeah.
cold-hearted bastard.
Yeah.
You know.
Cold-hearted orb.
I just use, you know, when I put, but you know what, guys, it really isn't that much to support Royce. I mean, it's, I even forget what is it to sign up on the first tier is $2.
No, yeah, $1.99 on up to the top tier at $5.99, right?
Right, and I'm at the bottom tier, but I told you once you get started, I'll join your top tier.
I thought
right?
you were at the middle tier.
Oh, maybe I am. I don't know.
You know what? No, I can't remember either.
Yeah. I can't either, Royce, but I'm always looking forward to you getting that going. And if you just follow that, you know, give yourself a rhythm within the week, and then
you gotta
go. I'm going to do this for a month. I'm going to dedicate my. I'm going to do this. You'll be surprised at the end of that month. You'll go, okay, I've got my feet wet. I can commit another month, and then go, and that's how you make these, you know, steps as a YouTube creator. Is everything gets incrementally better.
Increment, yeah. If you don't mind me asking, how many members do you have?
Oh, I only have like 7 members right now, but I haven't really had a chance to launch it. You know, not properly. You know, I mean, I don't even include. I include information in my description box and everything, but I've kept up for the most part, providing them with newer videos and videos that aren't on my channel and all of that.
No, I see those. Yeah,
but I'm not pushing it until I can get. See, the advice I'm giving you is the advice I'm following right now. I do this. I do this for a time. Do this for a time, and it's just now getting to where I could almost comfortably wear this. All right, because it's like working out, Royce. You know, you're getting muscles you haven't exercised in a while, and they're sore. You know what I mean? And, I've almost worked through the soreness. You know,
you can almost say it's a little bit awkward, right?
Oh, didn't post.
Yeah.
Anyway, so enough of all that.
I put it in the private chat. Dusty just wrote you a theme song.
Oh,
you want to play it on the show there, Royce?
Okay, let me see how I find that.
God, I gotta hear this.
It's in the private. The link's over there in the private chat.
In the private chat.
Oh Lord, here we go. Frankenstein's monster has been unleashed. Dusty, you're a shit disturber. You are.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
No, it's not playing for us.
Yeah, I don't hear it.
If you're hearing it, Royce, you're the only one.
Okay, nobody else can hear it?
No.
Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll probably have to use the share function.
It's actually really good. The great topic. Royce is in the house.
Yeah.
Okay, now how do we you guys can't see it either then, right?
No, you'd have to use the share function and then share it like another window.
Okay.
The present the TV thing down at the bottom.
Okay, let's see. I have never done this before. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we should have had it sent to you, Dave. Copy song link.
When we were talking about
okay. If I lose everybody, you're gonna know why. Okay, let's see. I copied the link. Let me see if I can add this here to video clips.
I'll bet you it sounds something like, "Don't tell my spouse I'm going to Royce in the house.
It's actually better than that. So
Oh,
All right.
yeah, it's okay. Let me do this.
So you guys are doing that, eh? John Paul Jones was asked something by an interviewer on the way to the plane, to the Starship. They were saying, hey, is it true that you guys, you're the biggest band and you did all this and that? He goes, whatever you heard, we did it, only we did it better than everybody else.
hey, you know what? We when I first got on tonight, Chris was espousing the wonderful Celebration Day performance, and I got to tell you, when I heard that, John Paul Jones plays the best bass live throughout that concert than any other time I've ever seen him in a video playing bass live ever with Led Zeppelin. He was so freaking glued in. Or do you guys agree with me on that?
Totally agree. They were all
Yeah.
yeah. It was crazy.
That was him at his very best, man. I've never heard him live play that bulletproof, fast, that precise, that wickedly locked it. Because, he would play over the drums because Jimmy Page and Bonzo would play together and he would marry it all up as a bass player. But with his son, he chose to lock into Jason's drums so well that it actually accentuated him as a bass player. And my God, that's some of the best bass live playing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit the play button for this video now.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I think since I'm sharing, I think I have to do it. I think.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I was just waiting for Michael to finish there. So okay,
yeah, I was too.
Here we go. Here's the magic. Everybody heard okay?
Yes.
She's in the house, get ready to rock. Life seems going live, he's stuck in the lot. He's got his guitar and turned up high. Won't play all night till the morning light. Royce in the house, rocking out tonight. Very strong and beat, feel the energy ignite. He's got the rhythm, got the melody too. Everyone's flying in the house, rocking out for you. From classic riffs to new school vibes, Royce is bringing the heat, got the music alive. His fingers moving fast, got the crowd in the trance, rocking out together in this digital dance. Royce in the house, rocking out tonight. With every strong the beat, feel the energy ignite. He's got the rhythm, got the melody too. Everyone's fun in the house, rocking out for you.
Oh.
This was all made in a matter of a minute.
Yeah.
Turn it off now. Dave, I think you're in charge of canceling it.
Now look at that. It says Suno. So Dusty, I want you to know this is war, you Suno. Thanks a lot, Dusty.
Hey, Dusty,
God.
thank you. That was fun.
That's awesome.
That was
That
fun.
was fun.
Anyway, Jesus, what is this world coming to? I could even write songs now. With a little help from my AI friends. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
God.
They need to be doing a voiceover over the solo part. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Royce in the house.
Cue the audience.
Crazy.
Yay!
Well, let's see. We're in a different screen here right now. Let's see.
Yeah, next thing Royce will be doing is providing a laugh track. To the live stream,
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. That'll work out great. Wow, I've got
Rosie, you cannot do the show.
I've got people in the chat. Amazing. When you put on a good song, what happens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got Groovy Lisa. Hello, Lisa. How are you? I've been following your whole transformation, with your hair and stuff. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I
Lisa.
dropped in on her stream while she was playing piano the other day.
She plays piano. I know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool too. Let's see. Groovy Lisa. Hi, Dave.
When it comes to tributes and that, have you guys ever seen classic albums live? It's a touring show. It's classics albums live. What they do is they'll choose an album. Like I've seen them 3 times. They did Led Zeppelin 2, Led Zeppelin 4, and I've also seen them do Mad Man Across the Water from Elton John. And what they do is they bring as many musicians as they have to on stage to reproduce everything you hear on that album.
Right. I've seen videos of this, I think.
If we have to bring on 4 or 5 different guitar players just to be able to play all the overdubs and everything at once, they'll do that.
Right.
It's a really good tribute to whatever album they're putting out.
Yeah.
I should say.
Yeah, I'd go see something like that. I would. Yeah. That'd be a lot of fun.
Live, my goodness.
I'm not sure this is much of a compliment from James on Houses of the Holy.
Hey, that hurts.
Well. Hold on. James. You know what, Chris? You make a good point there. That what was it we were talking about? I lost my train of thought. You were making a point just now regarding. Sorry about that. Senior moment. But anyway, that's exactly what they do with Beethoven, right, Chris? They get this big orchestra to play all the parts he wrote, right? Same thing with Mozart and all of the, even his operas, which I can't stand. I loved his piano concertos, but never liked opera. But, they get all the singers, all the parts that can do it and look the part, do it all. Well, that goes right with what I was saying earlier, that rock and roll is that kind of art form. And it is worthy of that type of stage presentation to precisely, reenact it live, because that's what we do when we go see an orchestra, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, kudos.
Yeah. That's
was a
very,
great-
very, very true.
That was really cool.
Was it? I didn't see that, but I have seen recordings of them replicating Yes, and I've seen them doing recordings replicating Led Zeppelin as well, and they do it very well. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see him here play Yes songs.
Well, folks, I think it's about time to sign off. We're a little over an hour and a half, and we've long since passed up our topic, which I'm fine with. I actually kind of like covering the topic for a while, then just kind of having an open forum where we can talk about whatever. So
Some
really
of
not
our
that.
best discussions have been based on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yep.
But I want to thank everybody that joined me here. Chris, Dave, Michael. Appreciate you guys, helping on the panel. And I really want to thank you all in the chat. Please, if you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and hit that for me.
Thumbs up.
Get the show off at the start. And thank you guys all for being here. And we're going to sign off. And that's what's happening in Royce's world today. Thank you all so much.
Good night, everybody.
Have a great night.
Everybody.